Good morning. Good morning. I pray that this week has been going well, that you are learning and growing, and also I pray that today goes well. This morning I was listening to a couple songs, and one song was, it hit a certain way, but as God began to speak to me, He was like, "I'm glad you're willing to wait. However, are you willing to speak what I say?" And this has nothing to do about telling other people, but it's speaking what God has shown me about me. And a lot of times we don't want to do that. A lot of times, due to maybe people judging or being misunderstood or whatever the case may be, or even out of fear, we don't declare if because it may sound outlandish. And one of the scriptures that I love is Psalms 118, verse 17. In the King James Version says, "I would live and not die and declare the works of the Lord." And for some reason, I always would put, "I would declare the word of the Lord." But but when I looked at it in the Good News translation, it says, "I will live." It says, "I will not die. Instead, I will live and proclaim what the Lord has done." For so many of us, we have testimonies of what we thought was impossible in one season that is possible, that it has become possible. And to know that we only can live if we're attached to Jesus. We're attached to the main vine, because we're a branch. But when we're going through difficult things, if we're not declaring the word and the word of the Lord and what God has done for us and praise and worship our way through, we can die in the middle of possessing what God is calling us to possess, especially in very hard seasons. And I just want you to believe who God says you are. Matter of fact, one of my favorite songs is by Sinaj, and it's called "Who I Am," I think. And in the song, it said, "I am who you say I am, where you say I am, how you say I am." And it's to be able to accept and believe the identity of Christ that He has for us. This is not about, performing, great miracles. This is not about, doing, praying for, billion-dollar things. This is about being able to walk daily in who God called you to be, called us to be, with authority, to be able to be holy, to be able to overcome things, overcome sins and other things that we have done, just to be able to accept, that what was once an Achilles heel or kryptonite is no longer that. It's about believing who God says we are. It's about living holy, living like Jesus. It's not about all the other stuff. And it is about that, but it's not the center focus, because how we live, how we love, and how we exist in this world reflects back to Jesus. And we want Jesus to be glorified in every area of our lives. How can Jesus be glorified if we don't believe? And if we don't believe it, we don't walk it out. If we don't really take it to heart and submit our ways, how can Jesus be glorified? Because there are scriptures that Paul has written that says, "Whoever you yield your members to, that is who you serve." And are you serving your flesh, or are you serving the Spirit of God that's within you? Are you serving selfishness, or are you serving selflessness? Sorry. Look at who you're serving and who you believe in more. Because in order to be able to do and be who God's called you to be, you're going to have to believe Him over yourself and everyone else around you. And I'm not saying not taking criticism or learning from mistakes, but it's believing who He made you at the innermost part of who you are. He loves you. I love you. And I pray that you have a great day.